The inner revolution, walking with the parts that still want to go back. Hello again. I'm Angela Carter, IFS therapist, and today we're talking about something that often sits quietly beneath the surface after a toxic relationship ends. That part of you that still wants to go back, even after everything, even after gaslighting, even after the betrayals, the emotional withdrawal, the cycles of hurt. Even after you've learned the truth, you might still miss them, long for them, feel a pull you can't explain. This doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean that you've undone your healing. It means you're human. And your internal system, your beautiful, protective, adapted system is still in process. So today we're not shaming those parts. We're walking with them. Because when you walk with them, you transform them. And that truly is the revolution. So let's start with a truth that most people won't say out loud. Sometimes we miss people who hurt us. Not because we want the pain back, but because parts of us are still tied to the moments that felt like love. And in IFS, we understand that this pull isn't the whole truth. It's a part. It might be a part that still believes that they could change, or a vulnerable part that was finally seen, even if it was only briefly, or a caretaker part who made their pain your responsibility, or a fantasy bond part that fell in love with the potential, not the reality. These parts are not irrational, they're loyal, and often they carry the blueprint for early attachment. They're still waiting for the end that they didn't get, the apology, the repair, and the transformation. And every time that you feel that pull to reconnect, it's often one of those parts whispering, maybe this time it will be different. Let's meet that whisper with compassion. These parts are trying to protect something precious inside of you. The belief that you're lovable, the need to feel chosen, the desire to not feel discarded, the longing for a narrative where love is enough. And underneath these parts, there's often an exile, a really vulnerable one who's holding the story of, if I wasn't enough for them to love safely, maybe I'll never be. That's the part we need to speak to now. Not to banish it, not to override it, but to let it know you no longer have to keep hoping someone else will rescue you. Because together we're here now and we're listening. In an IFS, we don't force parts to let go. We lead them gently. That's the work of the self. So how do we walk with the part that wants to go back? Well, we need to listen. Ask the part, what do you miss? What are you afraid will happen if we don't go back? What need were you trying to get met through that connection? And often, it's not them that this part misses. It's what they represented. Belonging, intimacy, security, being known. Even if that wasn't real love, that's what they're looking for. And those needs are valid, but they don't need to be outsourced anymore. You can meet them internally. Not everything was a lie. If there was a moment of love, let's name them. Let's not gaslight ourselves in reverse. Say to the part, yes, there were beautiful moments. And we also deserve a love that doesn't require suffering to feel seen. This holds duality. It honors your humanity. So we want to show them presence in the moment, honoring what was real, but show them presence. And we can do that through visualization or somatic practices. Imagine placing this part of you in your heart space. Let them see what it feels like without the chaos. Let them feel what it's like when you protect them. gently, lovingly, calmly, and say, you don't have to go back to survive. We have new ways now. This is part of the reparenting process. This is revolution. When the urge feels overwhelming, and there are times when it will, because you are still on your healing journey, what do you do? What do you do when that pull is so strong it aches? Well, you start by pausing, and you bring both hands to your heart, and you say aloud, without judgment, a part of me wants to go back, and I can still choose not to, but I can honour that part. I want to understand it. You don't have to reject the part. You simply have to lead it. Remind yourself, missing someone is not the same as needing them. Pain is not a signal to return. It's a call to tend to your world. You're allowed to grieve the version of love you hope for. This grief is sacred, and every time you stay with it without collapsing, you grow. This is really your inner revolution. This episode isn't about slamming the door on the past. It's about turning towards the part or parts of you that still holds the door open. You don't have to shut it down. You don't have to pretend you're over it. You just have to sit beside her and say, I see you. I know how hard you tried, and I'm going to keep walking us forward together. That is what it means to walk in self. That's what healing looks like, not polished, but powerful. So in our next episode, we'll explore when love wasn't love, naming emotional abuse and rebuilding trust. We'll look at how to be with our parts, understanding the emotional harm, so that we can stop minimizing it and start to truly heal from it. If this episode touched something tender, please subscribe or leave a comment and share it with someone whose heart needs these words. You don't need to fight your parts to heal. You just need to lead them gently, daily, and with love.